The Battlefield 6 beta weekend 2 has finally concluded, and that is the final open beta that we will get until the release of Battlefield 6 on October 10th, 2025. But with this beta ending, I wanted to share some of my thoughts on this beta and some of my critiques, concerns, and things I loved about this beta. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. First off, I want to start with things that I absolutely love. And one thing right off the bat that I absolutely love is the destruction. The destruction is awesome. I absolutely love it. It is so, I can't even compare it to, I mean, I would say maybe Battlefield 4, but even Battlefield 4 didn't have this level of destruction. Maybe Battlefield 1, but Battlefield 1 didn't have this type of urban combat. I suppose it kind of did, but oh my goodness, the destruction in Battlefield 6 just goes to a whole other level. It is absolutely amazing. Seeing things like a jet crash down into a building and the remains of that jet are causing that building to explode and crumble is awesome. It is just so cool. The destruction is phenomenal, and it feels like Battlefield. Earlier in a previous video, I did complain that sometimes whenever you shoot a wall, it doesn't really feel satisfying because there isn't much hit feedback. Though as I've played more, I have noticed that sometimes when you do hit a wall, that it does change its texture and become like a damage state, which is nice to see. I don't know if they changed that within weekend 2, but it's good that there is some sort of indication that a structure is weak. I feel like sometimes there are still instances of things just kind of randomly crumbling when they look perfectly fine. So that is one small critique on the destruction I have, but overall the destruction is so good, and I love how it's used in gameplay. If people are camping, you can just blow up the house that they're camping in. It is fantastic. I really do love the destruction. I think they nailed it. Now, I mentioned jets and vehicles, and one critique I do have for this beta that this is probably my most major critique and most, like, just what I'm really questioning from EA is why of the 4 maps in a Battlefield beta, keep in mind, in a beta you want to test things, that's usually the idea of it, why are they only giving us a single map where on one team, only a single person can be in a jet and a single person can be in a helicopter, and then on the other team, a single person can be in a jet and a single person can be in a helicopter. So that means on a single map, Liberation Peak, you can have 4 people maximum in aerial vehicles. I feel like that's just very silly, and I also don't like how it's on just a single map. I do seriously think the map set in Gibraltar could totally have a helicopter and a jet. They can absolutely have these things, and I'm kind of confused as to why they didn't. I think it'd be really fun. You know, maybe they'll add it in a mode, but I think it'd be really cool to have helicopters on those more urban maps. But yeah, I thought it was a bit strange that within this beta, of the 4 maps that they allowed us to play, there was only a single one with aerial vehicles, especially in a Battlefield game, especially given that a lot of the promo material of this game is Brooklyn and the Brooklyn Bridge, and there's jets and helicopters there. So again, just something that I thought was really kind of disappointing. I would have loved to see more vehicles. Again, with that destruction, whenever you see a helicopter or a jet explode and then crash into a building or something, oh my goodness, it is crazy. It is, I've never seen it before within a Battlefield game, or really any game before. Maybe Teardown, which is crazy to compare to. I really do wish we had more vehicles. I do think the tanks feel great, but would have been really nice to see more aerial vehicles, and maybe they're doing that because who really knows? It is anyone's guess as to why there wasn't more aerial vehicles. I also want to talk about the maps. I saw a lot of talk online of people being concerned of the Brooklyn map and that it's too small and it feels like Call of Duty, and personally I disagree. I think I definitely think there's a place for a map like Brooklyn. I do think it'd be sweet if there was vehicles on it, but I also think it plays well without vehicles. And it kind of reminds me of a map like Metro. That is a map without any vehicles, although that is, again, a very close quarters map, but so is Brooklyn. So I don't really know how to feel on that one. Again, this is a map where I think helicopters and jets would fit perfectly. Maybe tanks and those types of vehicles wouldn't work so well because the streets on this map are designed for infantry, but I feel like a helicopter and a jet could reasonably work on this map, and it would really be nice to see. Maybe that comes down the line, maybe it doesn't, but overall, I thought the maps played very well. There really wasn't any map that I disliked. At first, I kind of disliked Brooklyn, but it really grew on me. I really enjoy how vertical it is and how you can really get up in those buildings, and how many options you have for, like, if you want to snipe, you can totally snipe on this map and be super well. Like, it feels like a Battlefield map. It's just it doesn't have those vehicles, which is certainly strange when you're queuing for a conquest game or a breakthrough game and there's no vehicles. But that is one thing I just really would like to see more, is vehicles on these types of maps. I have played essentially every single mode, I think, except for the King of the Hill mode, but Conquest, Breakthrough, Rush, I've played all of those. I think Rush plays fantastically, in my opinion. I really, to be quite honest with you all, really never played that much Rush. I more of was a Conquest person, or when Breakthrough came out in Battlefield 1, I played the heck out of that. So Rush really never was my thing, but personally, I think Rush feels really good, but I'm not really a Rush expert, but just as a game mode, in my personal opinion, I think Rush feels fantastic, and that really goes for all the modes. There really wasn't a mode that I disliked playing. It all felt very solid. Again, just the one thing that I find a little bit questionable is, whenever you're queuing up for these large-scale all-out warfare conquest games or these breakthrough games, and then you're getting put in a map like Brooklyn that doesn't even have vehicles. I don't know. It's a little bit weird, and maybe they'll change it up around launch where you can deselect maps like Brooklyn, or those close quarters maps. Currently, they do have a custom search where you can search for specific maps, which is absolutely awesome to see. I do know we'll be getting Portal, and the Portal mechanics are supposed to be much better than they were in Battlefield 2042. I never really touched Battlefield 2042's Portal mode, but I really do hope Battlefield 6 has something fun cooking up. I have so many fun memories on GTA 5 and just like the custom games that people would make on there, like the death matches or like the death runs or whatnot. Maybe something similar can be pulled off in Battlefield 6. That would be really cool to see. But overall, this beta I am really, really happy with. I'm probably not going to pre-order this game. Maybe I will a day before it releases just so I can, download it. But I don't know. I think the game is really solid. I'm super excited for the campaign. I think the recent Battlefield campaigns have just been really fantastic. Battlefield 2042 didn't really have a campaign, which was a bit disappointing, but Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5 had some pretty solid campaigns, so I'm excited to see what Battlefield 6 has cooking up. And with all that being said, that is really all I have to say with Battlefield 6. I'm super excited for this game to come out. I am not really looking forward to Call of Duty at all, especially given that there's going to be carry forward this year, which means on day one, you are going to see Beavis and Butthead in your lobbies running around. Maybe even the beta, probably not in the beta, but that is just crazy. And yeah, I'm definitely going to be skipping Call of Duty this year. But man, Battlefield 6 looks absolutely fantastic. Let me know what you all think down in the comment section below. Are you excited for this game? I certainly am. And with all that being said, thank you so much for watching. Thank you very much to my YouTube members who support this channel financially for $1 a month. It really does mean the most. And with all that being said, thank you again so much for watching. This video was fun to make. I am super excited for Battlefield 6. And yeah, let me know what you all think of Battlefield 6 down in the comments below. And with all that being said, I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.